Let's explore the journey of what someone goes through when they're accused of sexual assault. This applies whether you're innocent, whether you're guilty, whether it's somewhere in between. This video, we're gonna talk about a lot of things. We're gonna talk about the first accusation, all the way through what happens, where you serve your time, if you are in fact convicted. We're gonna learn about how to deal with that first accusation, how to be aware of something known as a controlled call or a pretext call, how to deal with law enforcement's investigation, learn about the power of social media evidence, and the strength of cell phone or forensic evidence from a digital laptop computer. We're also gonna learn about the differences between trial and a preliminary hearing. The purpose of this video is to educate you so you understand if you or a loved one are charged with such a serious offense, how to deal with it, to protect your freedom, to protect your future. First thing you gotta know your rights. The journey begins with the first accusation. This can come in so many different ways. It can come from your accuser directly. You can learn about it through social media. You can learn about it through the cops. You can learn about it through Child Protective Services. Anyone, anywhere, anything. And that feeling, that emotion is something you'll never forget. The shame, the embarrassment, the fear, the concern for your freedom or your future. That applies whether you did it or not. So how are you gonna handle this? What are you gonna do? First thing you can do is gonna get yourself the best locally experienced criminal defense attorney and law firm that you could possibly afford. Second thing you're gonna do, you're not gonna talk. You're not gonna talk to your spouse. You're not gonna talk to the police. You're certainly not gonna talk to your accuser. You're not gonna go on social media to refute, deny, admit, any of that stuff. Get yourself the right lawyer at the right time. As the investigation progresses against you, one thing you must be aware of is a controlled call, also known as a pretext call. These calls at first may seem harmless or even friendly in nature. They're a trap. They're a trap with the cops listening on the other line. They're a trap where a lot of times it could be your accuser or it could be someone that you know and think you could trust. A lot of times they go down something like this. Tell me what you did to me, or why did you do that to me that night? You knew I was drunk. I'm in therapy. My therapist just says if you admit to me, that'll help in my healing. And you don't want someone to suffer emotionally or physically or mentally, so a lot of times you may go along with it, whether you did it or not. But the cops are recording that. And I can tell you over and over and over again, these cases that go to court, these cases that go to trial, the most damning piece of evidence, the control call. It's not just me saying it as a criminal defense attorney. It's not just the prosecutors or even a judge. It's jurors after they convict people accused of sexual assault. If it weren't for that controlled call, we would have had a hard time with this case. Your client admitting, can't blame the cops. He didn't even know they were cops were on the line, but they were. Must be aware of that control call. You must know how to handle it. They want to talk to you about the accusations. Tell them to talk to your attorney. At some point after these accusations come to light, you're going to be contacted by law enforcement. Cops are going to want to talk to you. They may place a business card on your door. They may come to your work. They may call your spouse trying to find you. You must maintain your composure during this difficult time. And equally, if not more important than maintaining your composure, is remembering what you're supposed to do, remembering what you're not supposed to do. You're not supposed to talk. Don't give life to an investigation that may be on life support. With your words, with your statements, with your evidence that will be used against you any way they can to corroborate or confirm anything that you're being accused of, whether you did it or not. You must protect your freedom and future by keeping your mouth closed. Tell the cops you want to cooperate. Here's my lawyer's number. They'll be more than happy to talk to you. Let your attorney know right away. The power of social media evidence and your digital footprint when accused of sexual assault. You're not going to win this case in social media. You're not going to win this case on the internet. You're not going to win this case and win the support of your friends, family, loved ones, anyone over what goes on a cell phone, what goes on your computer, none of that. But you can lose it. Can lose it by saying stupid things. But at the same time, a friend of yours says, hey, what's up, man? Why'd you do that to her? And you don't respond? A good DA is going to try and argue that's something known as an adoptive admission, that you were confronted with an accusation, not by the cops, by a friend, and you didn't say a thing. And if they could prove that you actually received it and viewed it but didn't respond, they're going to try and use that against you. So wait a minute. Earlier in this video, you were talking about don't talk to the cops, don't say anything. Yes, that's true. But in a situation like that, hey, talk to my lawyer. I pled not guilty. If you're going to say anything, say that. You're not going to win these types of cases in social media, none of that. You can only lose it. And it's essential to understand that whatever you might have done, whether it is true or not with what you're accused of, you've got to make sure you don't make matters worse by what you're putting out there on the internet. You're putting yourself in places and situations that they might not otherwise be able to prove. Now, earlier, we talked a lot about keeping your mouth closed. Don't talk to the cops. Don't talk to your accuser. Don't talk to this one. Don't talk to that one. But what happens if you get a message, a text message? What's up, man? Why'd you do that to that girl? You didn't know she was under 18 years old? And you don't say anything, right? Like, hey, I'm not talking. Well, there's a little bit of an exception here. That's something known as an adoptive admission. It's one of the district attorney's tools that they have in trying to secure convictions. Basically what they're going to say is, hey, so-and-so confronted you with these accusations. You didn't deny them, right? These are friends. These are not the cops. So your friend asks you, hey, what's up? How come you did this? You don't respond in any way, shape, or form. District attorney, if they're awake, if they're alert, if they're good, you're going to figure that out and try and use that against you. You have a top-notch law firm on your side at this process. Hey, what do? I got contacted by so-and-so. They want to know why I'm talking to this girl, or why I did what I'm accused of. That's stuff that law firm could advise you how to handle it in your unique situation. Hey, I appreciate the seriousness of the accusations. Please talk to my lawyer. You're responding to it. You're addressing it. You're not admitting to it, whether directly or indirectly, and it's probably not something the district attorney is going to be used against you, and you're not trying to win this case over social media or text message, because you're not. You win this case with the help of the right attorney at the right time, and that's as early as possible. Don't even wait until the cops get to you, because by that time, they've probably been investigating the case for weeks, if not months. The moment you hear about something this serious, stop the flow of information, stop the rumor mill, stop the spiraling of out of control where you feel like you're losing control. Get control. Get yourself the right attorney, the right law firm to regain control of this situation. I want to finish by talking about the significance of a preliminary hearing in a sexual assault investigation or a sexual assault case. Now, so much emphasis is put on trial, right? When a jury of 12 people hear the evidence and determine whether or not the case is proven against you beyond a reasonable doubt. Really important, but you don't get the trial without a preliminary hearing in California. And a preliminary hearing, other than trial, is the most important aspect of your criminal case. What happens at a preliminary hearing is, although they don't need to, they will more often than not, your accuser will actually take the witness stand and be subjected to cross-examination, questioning by your lawyer. He or she will be able to point out some inaccuracies, will be able to set up that testimony that if the case goes to trial, now that witness or witnesses are locked into what they said when they were under oath at a preliminary hearing. You may not get cases dismissed or charges even dismissed sometimes at a preliminary hearing with such serious accusations like these in sexual assault cases, but with the right attorney, with the right evidence, if you did a lot of the things we talked about earlier in this video not to make the matters worse, you've got yourself a shot to utilize a preliminary hearing to set the case up for success. Short term, maybe a negotiation if that's in your best interest, or long term if the case were to go to trial. Now, a lot of times people make a crucial mistake. They wait until after the preliminary hearing to up the ante as it relates to the quality of who's standing by them, with and for them in court, who their attorney is. Oh man, this preliminary hearing was a disaster. I gotta start taking this case seriously. You should have been taking this case seriously weeks before the police even got to you. But you can't do anything about it, right? So what are you gonna do? Can't control what you can't control, but you can control what you can control, and that's who's representing you moving forward. So you want a law firm that's got that type of high-level experience in a case like yours, right? You're not gonna go hire a DUI lawyer when you're facing 25 to life for a violent rape or a sexual assault. You're not gonna wanna spend a significant amount of money for someone's first shot at a multiple victim child molest case. Why would you do that? You have to understand the significance of this process. Each step has a process. Each step has a purpose. District attorney knows what they're doing. The cops know what they're doing. And you're gonna go in there blindly, not thinking about the case, not worried about the case, not focused on the case until it's too late. Why? Then you're sitting in a situation, you're in a jail cell, you're in a prison cell, in protective custody, facing a significant amount of time, potentially the rest of your life in prison, as someone who's been convicted of sexual assault. Not a place where anyone wants to be, especially a place that you might have been able to prevent. By getting ahead of the situation early, by protecting your freedom, by protecting your future, by getting the right defense team on your side early and often. So in today's video, we tried to shed some light on what you could expect from the first accusation, to law enforcement's investigation, to the controlled call, to the impact and importance of social media and your digital footprint in a sexual assault investigation, all the way through preliminary hearing and trial. These are serious accusations. When they are proven, when they are true, it's a terrible thing for the person who had to go through it, for the real victims out there. If you take away one thing from this video, understand that if you or a loved one are accused of sexual assault, you don't want to wait around. You don't want to wait and see. You don't want to sleep on it and see what happens in court. Because if you wait, it might wind up being too late, and you won't be able to undo a lot of things you might have been able to prevent with the right quality, locally experienced criminal defense firm that should be on these types of cases early and often to protect your freedom, to protect your future. Know your rights.